So, just a couple minor things, nothing too serious. They're getting looked at right now, just normal guys that were in and out. Obviously Dex battled through us for us with the illness. Was primarily in the third down role, but really did a nice job when he was asked to go out there. Had an impact.
Mike, for you guys, with everything that's happened this year, just what does a 2-game win streak mean for you all?
It's just really, I'm just really proud of the players and the coaches for hanging tough, putting in the work every single day, every single week. They never wavered. They never wavered. I know the results weren't there, but the process was right. The way they went about it, the competitive stamina they went about it to turn this thing around the last couple of weeks and make a statement in terms of how they played and how they prepared, how they practiced. Just really cool, really proud of them. Obviously, seeing these guys in the locker room, just the smiles on their faces. The season wasn't what we all wanted, but they finished it the right way.
What do you say to Gunnar in terms of not getting his second touchdown pass this year?
Oh, I'm sure he wants that one back, but I'm proud of him. He had 100 yards receiving today, stepped up in a role. When Wandell goes down, one of our premier receivers, he steps right into that spot and has production like that, and huge critical third downs, big plays down the field, winning one-on-one. They played a bunch of man coverage, and Gunnar took advantage of it.
Mike, what are your emotions right now, as you come to the end of the season? Because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about this great win that we just had and enjoying this with the players and the coaches. So, and the family, which I'll see, we had a bunch of family in town as well today. So I'm looking forward to enjoying that tonight.
Did it mean anything more to you, though, Mike? Because the first couple weeks
after I didn't hear the
did it mean anything more to you, though? Because the first couple weeks after you took over, it didn't go so well, and then you got the win against the Raiders, and now you get this one too in front of the fans, like you said, your family in attendance. I mean, does that mean something to you?
Yeah, all these games are so important. They mean a lot because we put a lot into it. We spend a lot of time at the facility, spend a lot of time away from your family, spend a lot of time studying and having to figure out and have problems and find solutions. And so you spend a lot of time talking with it, and it ends up being it's a people business. So you got to work with people and you got to find solutions that make it the best for what those players are and what's best for the team. And so you have those conversations, basically the entire day is all you're thinking about is the players, the team, the organization, what puts these guys in the best position. And so, you absolutely, these mean more because, there's people that are involved, there's families that are involved, and, you want to do the best for them.
Mike, it seemed like Jackson got off to a little bit of a slow start, but then really picked it up. What did you see in him?
I thought offensively, we just had a couple drives early in the game that we could have executed at a higher level. I think there was a couple calls I like to have back as well. Just not finishing in the red zone. I really thought we could have taken more control of the game earlier if we had finished some drives in the red zone. We took some field goals, which was still good. It's kept us in the flow of it. But there was a couple missed opportunities, whether it was penalties or whether it was missed, poor play call, which I thought I had a couple of those that I want back. But I'll go back and look at it. But, I'd just say the early start of that, I could have helped Jackson out better.
What's it mean for Tyrone to get over 100 yards today? What did it mean for Tyrone to get over 100 today?
It was great. I mean, he became the third back in Giants history to have 1,000-yard back-to-back seasons. So that was a cool milestone for him. But you heard him. I don't know if you guys weren't in the locker room, but he gave a lot of praise to the offensive line, the tight ends, the coaches. Like those are the guys that he understands that. Like he understands that it's an 11-man operation, and those guys are what make it go. But he has to make the plays as well, and he did. He had opportunities today, and he knew he was close to that milestone. That was cool for him to get. I mean, that's a pretty big deal when you talk about the history of the Giants, and he's the third player to do that. So that's pretty cool for him.
Can you talk about the importance of Ben Sauce today, kicker?
Yeah, really. I mean, Ben has been he's been lights out. He's been doing a really good job for us, and then he had some opportunities with the extra points and the field goals early in the game to kind of keep us up, and he was nailing them.
What was your message to the team post game today in the locker room?
Post game, I just told them how proud I was of them for competing, for finishing the right way. Throughout the week, teams can go one of two ways, and these guys just kept on staying on it, kept on preparing the right way, giving themselves the best opportunity to get out here and get a win. And then they came out and played it the right way, and they had a great mindset. They were tackling, they were running, they were blocking, and then they were making plays, which is at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Your best players making plays. You had Bobby Okereke with an interception, a huge one, on their side of the field that set us up for a touchdown there. And then you have players like Gunnar who steps up into roles and, are making plays down the field, right? Ben Sauls, early in the game, we sputtered in the red zone. He steps up and makes a play for us and hits the field goal. So really proud of those guys for stepping up.
Was there a point, when you were named interim coach, how long did it take you and you feel the staff to just get into the rhythm that you wanted them to have?
I really wasn't concerned about like when we were going to get into a rhythm. I think very early on is just myself communicating as clearly as I can the standards and how we were going to operate. And so that was, on my end of it, just really, reinforcing that, what I thought was important, and just giving it to them. And these guys are great coaching staff to work with. They're great coaches. And so, we've been on the same page. I've been working with them all year, all season. Now it's just in a little bit different role. So just being really clear with them with what I was, expecting. And then if anything ever came up, we just communicated, collaborated, and got it fixed.
You talked this year about Jackson's growth, but now after these last 2 games, 2 rushing touchdowns last game, 2 passing touchdowns, discipline with his running a little bit more. What can you say about his growth from when he started this journey to now where he is at the end of the season?
Mm-hmm. He's a young quarterback, so you're gonna go through those ups and downs. Like that's really normal. So we felt like there might have been a little bit, when he had a couple of rough games, like it's going to swing. Oh, he's this or that. I think Jackson has done a good job of just staying with his process. Going through and continuing to ramp up his communication with the players and continue to work his tail off to get the little things cleaned up, the details, right? His footwork, the mechanics, where his eyes are going to his eye progression. So I thought Jackson kind of blocked out all that noise, and you see this a player who's continuing to grow and continuing to learn. And the more reps he's getting, the more information he's going to bank. And now, you can springboard that into the offseason, where now he's going to continue to grow and learn. And all those things that we kind of went through the first time around, now he's seen it 2, 3, 4, 5 times now. That memory bank's going to kick in for him because he rarely makes the same mistake twice. So this is going to be a great offseason for him, and it was a great way for him to cap off the season.
2 more.
What did you think about the way he bounced back from the game against the Vikings these past 2 games? He really seemed to hit his stride. What did you think about his ability to kind of brush that off and bounce back?
Yeah, these are all the qualities that we saw very early on with him in the draft process, and his ability to after an interception or after a bad play, what does he do the very next play? And so you study that, you look at it, and it's, hey, we're stepping up. He's throwing a big-time shot, or he steps up, throws a touchdown, or runs and scrambles and gets a big play. So he has a very quick memory in that sense, and that's a good quality to have for a quarterback. When things go wrong, you flush it, and you move on, you get back on track and get back on the attack. And I think Jackson, and I know Jackson has that mindset, that aggressive mentality to do that, and he's shown it.
Going into the offseason, now is the time you start developing and putting plans in place for the team. Given the status interim, how do you approach that?
I haven't looked that far ahead. We're just going to enjoy tonight. I have the plan. We have plans laid out. We've had those conversations. Right now is a great night to just enjoy it with the team, with the staff, and the families.
Mike,
Go ahead. Yeah, take the last one.
Mike,
Sorry about that.
John Mara has some personal stuff going on. We know that, right? I'm not going to get into it. How important was it today to win this last game and kind of put a smile on his face?
It was great. It was great to have him around. It's great to have him around the facility and the players and the coach. I mean, he brings that energy to the locker room. He was there today. We presented him with a game ball. Talk about toughness and resiliency. He's one of the poster child for that, and coming up and still continuing to lead our organization. Very happy and very proud and very fortunate to work for a man like that.
Thank you.